So I feel like this is a really important video to watch if I ever plan to go back to the US. Well, I mean, I do plan to go back. I'm literally going back twice at least next year. Either way, 13 etiquette rules in the US that surprise tourists. Me. Etiquette is a thing worldwide, okay? It can be in the form of hand signs. Example, this means f*** you. This also means peace. It's crazy how a twist, a rotation of the wrist, means two completely fucking different things. Good evening. Hope you're having a great evening. Huh? Hope you guys are having a great weekend. Let's do this. Okay, here we go.
Our parents teach us to be polite.
Yes.
But what you learned as a kid doesn't always apply when you're in another part of the world.
True.
So if you're heading to the US anytime soon, I've got some tips for you.
Thank
on
you.
What we Americans consider the rules of etiquette and some stuff that's totally okay in the US that other countries might consider rude.
Okay, this is great. I feel like I probably should have watched this before I went to Orlando. Huh?
Number 1, feel free to ask for some condiments.
What?
If you're eating out and your food is tasting a little bland, it's completely fine to ask for salt, pepper, or sauces.
I mean, surely that just applies worldwide. Surely there's not a country on this planet where that's offensive to anyone. What?
To add a little zing to your meal.
Yeah, you gotta get the
Some
zing.
places in Europe see it as an insult to the chef if you start adding a little spice of
What?
your own. But don't worry about that in the US.
Oh, well, I can kind of see why it might come across as a bit, you know, because it's the chef. I bet it's like Italy or something.
Nobody's going to be offended or give you weird looks if you ask the waiter for a bottle of ketchup.
Or, you know what? I take it back. I bet you it's France. Sorry, Italy. It's France. I bet. Oh my God, it's France.
If you're at someone's house visiting, they won't see it as a jab to their culinary skills either. Some just like it spicier than others.
Okay, nothing wrong with that.
Number 2, always tip. Okay, well, maybe not always, but it's a rare occurrence if you don't tip your waiter, hairdresser, cab driver, and so on. And only if the service was really awful. But even then, a lot of Americans feel guilty about not leaving any tip.
Okay, guys, here's the thing. Obviously, I'm brought up in a place where tipping is not... I suppose it's optional anywhere. You don't have to tip, but it's like really rude if you don't in America. We don't have to do that. We don't feel like we need to tip. Tip is like a bonus, right? The way we see it, looking in, it's like almost as if tipping in the US is mandatory, right? I know it's not, but I feel like it comes across that way. Does that make sense? Is it? Like, what do you guys think? Do you always tip? Be honest. I want to know in the comments box down below. Do you always tip? If you do, where do you tip most? Restaurants? Do you tip the cab drivers more than somewhere else? Where? Let me know.
Rule is 15 to 20% of the bill. So get ready to do some mental math each time you eat out.
So if our bill is $100, you don't have to, but you're expected almost in a way to pay 120. That's crazy to me. That's crazy.
I've heard that tipping isn't a thing in some countries, especially in East Asia, where restaurant staff always provide good service no matter what. But in the US, it's simply a sign of gratitude that your waiter did a good job.
Yeah, like it's gratitude.
Even though they're probably tired, their feet hurt, and they've got a bunch of other tables to tend to. Number 3, clean up after yourself at fast food restaurants.
Yep.
Of course, if you're going to the States,
Listen,
I imagine a lot of your eating out will be done in fast food joints.
I hate this.
If you're finished eating and your tray is now full of wrappers,
put it in the bloody bin, man.
Boxes, take it to the trash can and dispose of the garbage yourself.
This actually infuriates me, bro. I do not understand why you wouldn't do this. I find it disgusting. Like, just eating there and then getting up and walking out and leaving all your shit on the table, because it does happen. I was in a restaurant today and like a lot of the tables just had food on them because people just left. And it's just like, there's bins there that have the little space on top to put your tray after you've dumped your rubbish into the bin below. Just fucking do it, man. Stop being a dick. I'm so sorry for my cursing. I probably beeped it out, but maybe not.
Most fast food places don't have a separate cleaning staff for that. It's pretty much always the cashier that needs to find time between ringing people up
it's horrible.
to go clean up the dining area.
Lazy.
So we try to help them out a bit and clean up after ourselves.
Yep, just right.
Number 4.
Hey.
Open gifts immediately in front of the giver.
Oh.
Now, I was pretty surprised when I found out that opening a gift as soon as you get it is considered bad manners in certain parts of the world, I
Nah.
guess some cultures see it as kind of greedy when you start tearing into a
Nah,
pretzel.
we don't. Well, I personally do not. I feel like it's just down to the person, really. But over here, I know a lot of people would just take the gift and then maybe open it in their own time. I sometimes feel a little awkward doing that. I don't know. I just feel a little bit awkward doing that. I know it's probably good manners to just open it in front of them and thank them, but I feel like I just thank them before I even know what it is anyway. And if somebody gave me a gift that's wrapped up, I'd be like, oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. You want me to open it? I suppose it depends who it's from, maybe. I don't know. It's a strange one for me.
Right away. In the US, it's pretty much the opposite. Open it as soon as you get it, right in front of the giver. That way, they can see your reaction, and you can thank them right there on the spot.
I suppose it's a nice...
There are also no rules about using both hands or a certain hand when giving or receiving a gift. Just grab it and open it already.
What?
Number 5. Be ready for small talk. How about that game last night?
I mean, I'm a fan of that.
When's this weather gonna let up already?
I could talk to the cows, come on, man.
Americans love small talk, so don't be surprised if a stranger just starts chatting with you while
love
you're
that.
waiting in line or sharing an elevator. It could be sports.
This is actually so true. Whenever I was in Orlando in the parks, I was sitting down having some food, and the people beside us must have heard us speaking and just started chatting to us, and we sat there and talked to each other for like 10 minutes just because they heard our accent. They asked where they were from, what I do for a living, they seen the camera and all this, and they just go, it was awesome. I really liked it.
The weather, traffic, anything, just to have a short, light conversation. I can't really say why we like talking to people we don't even know, but I mean,
I
if
feel
you're
like it's
sharing
a
space with someone, are you just going to totally ignore their
I
presence?
feel like it shouldn't be it should be a natural thing, right? Human beings to interact with each other, whether they know them or not. I feel like you know what I mean? I feel like it's a bit weird that people ignore other people for the sake of it instead of just chatting. You know?
That'd be awkward. Oh yeah.
It's how you
And
make
you'll
new
get asked
friends.
How you're doing a lot, even by strangers. It's usually waiters and cashiers that'll greet you with a, "Hi, how are you today?" Just answer with "Fine, and you?" Even if you're not exactly having a fantastic day.
Oh shit.
Number 6. Expect a lot
Yo, has anyone ever actually tripped on a banana skin? Let me know below.
of smiles. First of
Okay.
all, let me bust the myth that Americans constantly walk around smiling ear to ear.
They do not.
Nobody does that.
No one does.
Because that'd be weird.
That would be very weird.
But again, if you're sharing a space and making small talk with a stranger, or maybe someone opens or holds the door for you, they'll smile at you. And it's polite if you do the same.
True.
Cashiers and waiters also greet you with a big friendly smile. I read somewhere that this goes back to our early history as a country built by people who all spoke different languages. They didn't understand each other all that well, so they just smiled. But I still think we just like to be open and kind.
I agree.
Number 7.
I bloody agree.
Respect the bubble.
Respect it.
Now, here's
What's that
a pretty
mean?
funny thing about Americans. We're friendly, we
Uh-huh.
love to chat, but we also really
You guys are friendly. You know how I know? Because you're going to subscribe and like the video. Because you're friendly. Remember? Like he just said? Because if you don't, that means you must not be friendly. I got you. You have to now.
like our personal bubble.
I also stream on
The
Twitch.
unspoken rule is to stand about an arm's
Remember, because you're friendly, you could probably go follow there too. There's a link in the first comment.
length away when you're talking with someone. We're also not too big on touching during conversation, because this can be
What?
misconstrued as a way of flirting. Of course, the rule doesn't apply with close
Touching
friends
each
and
other?
family, but still, even then, most Americans aren't too touchy-feely.
Mm-hmm. No, I wouldn't
Number
be
8.
there.
And definitely no kissing.
What?
I know in countries like Spain
Oh,
and
like a-
France, people often greet each other with a peck or two on
Don't
the
like
cheek.
it. Fucking get your lips
There might
away,
be
man.
some Americans who greet the European
You know what I
way,
mean?
but overall, we don't kiss each other as
No.
a way to say hi.
Don't like it.
Again, my personal bubble is my
No,
sanctuary.
you don't know what they've just done. They could have sucked a dick and they've come up and kissed you in the cheek. You know what I mean? That's a brutal way to come across and a brutal thing to say out loud. But honestly, it's a good example. You do not know where their lips. They could have just been in the toilet doing something. They come out and they're kissing you in the side of. Get that dicky mouth away from me, bro.
So don't come in it with puckered lips.
I know it's
ablazing.
a crazy example I've just gave.
It's best
But
to just say
you know what I
hi,
mean? It could be.
smile, and keep it at that.
Just say hello, bro.
Number 9.
It's good for me.
Being loud is usually okay. The stereotype of the loud American tourist
Being loud is
might
alright.
ring true most of the time.
I'm an
since we
American
tend to
man.
project our voices, even out in public. It's not that we're yelling all the time, but I'd say we certainly speak louder than people
Yep.
in Europe or Asia.
Me too.
I've gotten some friendly reminder to take it down a few decibels when visiting my friends abroad. But hey, if you're ever in the States, feel free to laugh out loud or get particularly animated while telling a joke. But
Again-
of course, there's a time and place for that.
You know what? I feel like a lot of these is just natural. Like if you go to somewhere and you're not that you're not allowed, but it would be rude to laugh loud. Like, what the fuck type of country is that, man? See, if you want to laugh loud, you bloody laugh loud. You know what I
Still
mean?
have to hush down in places like libraries.
Of course. Yes.
Number 10. Indirectness is politeness.
What's that mean?
Here's the thing about Americans. A direct, no, I don't want, or like that, is seen as pretty rude.
Mm-hmm.
But if an American gives you a polite, no thanks, I'd rather not, or I don't think that's the best idea,
Okay.
that doesn't mean that they're on the
Oh,
fence about it.
okay, I get you.
No means no,
Yeah.
even if it's said indirectly and super politely.
Mm-hmm.
It's frowned upon to try and convince someone to do something or change their mind because it's seen as pushy and disrespectful to their wishes.
Yeah. Agreed.
Number
Agreed.
11. Sit in the back seat of a cab. Now this is something interesting I found out about
Yeah,
Australia and New Zealand.
I did.
There, it's considered rude
I
to
did.
take the back seat of a cab because it's almost like you're showing that you expect to be chauffeured by someone who's lower than you. Well,
What?
don't worry about that in the US. In fact, you should ride in the back seat because the driver might give you a weird look otherwise. It's
Yeah,
not
it'd be
an
weird to
elitist
get in the
thing,
front seat
and
for
you
me.
can still make friendly small talk from the back. Just respect the driver's personal bubble, that's all.
All right. Fair enough.
Number 12. Feel free to keep your shoes on inside.
All
I
right.
had a friend from Russia recently.
Hey, guys, tell me if this is true. I'm going to guess that this might be more of a personal thing than anything, because there's probably people out there who are watching this video right now that prefer if people take their shoes off as they come into the house. I mean, no, what's your thoughts? Because if you have, I know a lot of you guys don't have carpet in like your living room, right? Because it's dirty and shit. But if you do, you don't want people walking through with their shoes on and dirt everywhere, do you really? Let me know.
Why is it that in all American movies, people are walking around their house with their shoes on? And I just told them straight up, because that's what we do.
They do that
Now,
here
there
too.
are plenty of families here that
Keep our
don't
shoes
have a
on, too.
no shoes indoors policy, although I'd say the majority don't. So here's a good rule of etiquette to live by if you ever visit
If your
an
shoe
American's
has dog
home.
shit on it,
When you
take
walk
them
in,
off.
ask if you should take your shoes off at the door. If they say, nah, you're okay, don't feel bad about walking around their house in your shoes. I know it seems bizarre to most people around the world, but
Hey.
it's A-okay here.
I would honestly rather you walk around in your dirty shoes than take your shoes off and fucking stinky feet underneath. Stinky ass, sweaty feet, man.
13.
Get them away.
It's okay to keep it casual.
Okay.
Overall, I'd say the biggest thing about Americans is that most of us are pretty casual and laid back.
Uh-huh.
If you're ever out and about in the U.S.,
I agree.
you'll see a lot of people running errands in sweatpants, gym shorts, baseball caps,
Like,
and even their PJs.
Yeah.
But it's not just about clothes either. We often keep it on a first-name basis, even with people that are generally referred to more formally in other countries.
This is the way it
For
should be,
example,
man.
most of the time,
the way it
your
should
boss
be.
is just Jim or Janet, not Mr. or Mrs. Jones. You
No.
might start off more formally, but I guarantee you that that person will say right off the bat, hey, call me Jim. Now, what would be weird is if their name isn't Jim. Maybe it's Howard or Benny. Then what you say is, hey, call me a cab. So, are any of these Americanisms different or the same in your country?
What?
And to all my fellow Americans,
The
can you
fuck did that mean? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I really liked that video. I really liked it. There's I feel like a lot of it was normal. Like normal, the way, in my opinion, a lot of those should be like applied worldwide. You know what I mean? But either way, ladies and gents, thank you for watching. If you haven't yet, remember, because you're friendly, you're going to like the video and subscribe.